going in and out.
My sound is going in and out. My sound is going in and out. Is that better? Because I'm so
We can
hyped.
hear you
I am
now.
so hyped. It is Friday. Yes, yes. That now y'all with me. Am I good? Am I still
Yes.
good? Okay, awesome. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Victory Talk. It is Friday. We are excited to be with you guys, and we are excited to have our little brother, big brother. Amen. And so we got a really good show tonight, and the enemy tried to sneak in there, but he ain't know who he was messing with. He ain't even know. He ain't even know. And so we just gonna go ahead and get started. But before we get started, just a little housekeeping. We want y'all to go ahead, call somebody, text somebody, tweet somebody. Come on, pull out your gadgets. Tell them Victory Talk is on. Y'all don't want to miss this show because this brother is deep and he dope and he got a lot of stuff with him. And so we gonna unpack the whereabouts and the life, a little bit juiciness of brother Antwon Grant from Access Granted. I just love saying Access Granted.
Careful what you ask
Yes. So how you doing tonight, little sis?
At this very moment,
Hey.
at
What's
this
up,
very moment,
everybody?
at this very moment, I'm just happy to be here because, as I said before we went on, the devil tried everything from planting bombs to blocking traffic on 95. And I did break a couple of speed laws, but I made it. And
You
I'm
ain't get
feeling
caught?
good. I'm happy to be here, as always.
You didn't get caught, right?
Nah, that's
You ain't get no ticket, and you arrived alive.
I arrived alive, thank God.
All right,
That's
Key,
it,
what's going on, girl?
Not too much, just super excited to see Friday. Y'all already know how I always say it's been a long week. Look, besides the Sugar girl Key, that's about to be, my next little hashtag. Hashtag it's been a long week. Because it always is a long week. When you got 55, 11 things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it definitely is long.
Yes.
But it's all good because we here. We made it.
Yes.
And I'm excited. Date night after the show. So, yes.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
All right now.
Yes.
Well, it is all good. It is all good. I am glad that we made it back safely from North Carolina and we are ready. So let's get started. So as we said tonight, our guest tonight is brother Antwon Grant. I have known Antwon for...
Always try to base it on how old are Scotty and Tony. That's the only way I can.
I know. So Scotty is 36 or 37, something like that.
So it's been 26 or 27 years.
So yeah, it's been a long time. A long time. All right now. So, but it is a pleasure to always have a conversation with him. So I'm going to read, typically I do not read the entire bio, but I feel it necessary to read this one tonight. Why you shaking your head?
That's not the whole bio. It's shortened.
It's shortened? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Oh,
so you all right, Antwon. You had to shake your head like that.
Please don't read all that stuff I sent you.
I was going to read the whole thing.
It's only an hour show.
So, born and raised in Baltimore and graduate of Walbrook High School, attended Community College of Allegheny County in Pittsburgh and West VA Tech in Montgomery, West Virginia. He is a husband and a father of two and a proud member of Victorious Living Faith, the VLF Nation, singing on the praise team. Oh, you got it? He sings on the praise and worship team, and he is serving as coordinator of one of the coordinators of the marriage ministry with his wife and the Hearts. His professional background ranges. Let me double back a minute because he talks about his wife, but his wife is Cicely Williams Grant. I want y'all to know that. All right. His professional background ranges from sales and use tax administrator and help desk assistant to a network administrator for behavioral health administration, which he's done since the early 2000s. And in 2015, he also became the web editor for BHA. What is BHA?
Behavioral Health Administration.
Behavior Health Administration. Okay, nice. In 2012, he started BaltimoreFlavor.net, which was a website that served as a hub for things going on in the Baltimore scene. He shut down the website in 2013 after a brief hiatus, started Baltimore Flavor Radio, which basically brought the format of the website to the airwaves. Shortly thereafter, he also became a co-host of a show called Dad Rap, which focused on fatherhood and the challenges of raising children with mental health issues in November 2020. You didn't put a period there. In November 2020, he started Access Granted, the Pod Stream, which is a virtual version of what?
Baltimore Flavor Radio.
Thank you. Baltimore Flavor Radio was. But he's now able to connect with people on a national and international level. Antwon, we are going to stop right there and we are going to let you self-intro anything that we missed before we start to unpack, because, dude, you got a lot going on.
Nah, that's it. Only thing is, state service started in 1995. Y'all not gonna short me my 5 years, because I plan on retiring in 2024 by hook or by crook. No, but that's about it though. As I told Kiara, I don't like all of that stuff. So
you don't like all that other stuff, but I think it's necessary. So before we go, because I know it's a little bit more, because now your pod stream is now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you are on Amazon. Are you on Amazon?
Oh yeah, the audio part of it, like I put an audio clip of every show on the different podcasting streams. So it's on Apple, it's on Google Play, Amazon, Spotify, all of those normal places that you can find your podcast now. So,
okay. And he's also on YouTube.
Yes.
You can also be found on YouTube.
All of our shows are live on YouTube under Access Granted, the pod stream.
Yes. All right. Is there anything else you want to share before we
I love my pastor and my first lady.
Okay, all right.
And my ministerial staff.
And the ministerial staff.
All the brownies.
So before all of it, yes. So before we go any further, how did we get to Uncle Pastor Phil?
Because up until I joined Victorious Living Faith, he was Uncle Phil to me. And now he's my pastor, so I just replaced the Phil and he's just Uncle Pastor now.
Uncle Pastor.
And it's Passa, Uncle Pastor.
He sitting back and cracking up, Uncle Pastor.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, Uncle Pastor.
For sure.
All right. So let me ask you this. What made you decide to start a career in radio / podcast hosting?
Radio was something that I kind of wanted to get into years ago. And I'm going to tell on myself right here, because I literally used to sit at work every day and watch The Breakfast Club. That's the show from New York with DJ Envy, Angela, Charlamagne the God. I used to watch that relentlessly every day. And I just started saying, like, yo, I can do this. But when I decided that I wanted to get into it, I really wanted to go to the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland and learn, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I went there for a visit, and they told me what the tuition was, and I just said, thanks, but no thanks. And I got up, and I walked back out because I wasn't paying the mortgage payment for tuition. And so not too long after that, I saw somebody advertising their online radio show on Facebook, and I reached out to that person and asked them what that was all about. They gave me the information, and I went to what at that time was WPB Radio, which was ran by Frank and April Johnson. Salute to them because they really helped me get my feet wet in this game. And I started from there. And Jackie, you may remember my initial team at Baltimore Flavor Radio was Damien.
Yes.
It was Jalea Fuller, and I had comedian CJ Burney with me at that time. And you know, there's been a lot of transitions and everything throughout the process. I've had the show on. I had the show on 3 different radio stations, and not to knock any of the radio stations, but I learned a lot of stuff to do, but I also learned a lot of stuff to not do.
Okay.
When you own a radio station, and that just encouraged me to go and start my own, and that's when myself and my partners at the time, Jay McGraw and A. Michelle, we went out and we started the Worldwide Flavor Network, which was the station that we started in Arbutus. And then some things happened there, and Jay and I decided to leave that situation, and that's when we started the Power 4.4 radio station that is on Bel Air Road because it's still in existence. But what really made me just want to go ahead and start the platform was, and I say this all the time, I used to get tired of every time I visited a different city, people, the first thing when they found out I was from Baltimore, the first thing they would ask me about, is it like The Wire? You know, or they wanted to talk about the drugs and the murders. And I got to a point where I was like, yo, is that really all y'all think we do here in Baltimore?
Yes.
Like, there's so much more, you know, that the city has to offer. And that's basically what it started out as, just, you know, an opportunity to have a platform that I could show the world that there was more to the city. And then, of course, I stopped doing Baltimore Flavor Radio once the pandemic started. Number one, because of the pandemic, and number two, because I was just tired, because owning a radio station, you know, in addition to a full-time job and life was just getting to be too much. And, you know, my last show of Baltimore Flavor Radio was February of 2020. And by November, I was missing this. I was missing, and I said, you know what, with all this technology out here, there's no reason that I can't start up and do it from home. And it's actually gone a lot bigger than I thought it was. I knew that I wanted to kind of expand the people that I talk to, because with this technology, you can talk to people from all around the world. But I didn't think it was going to be Melba Moore and Special Ed and all of those people that I've had the chance to connect with since I've been on here. So it's been really good. But yeah, the basic premise was there's more to my city than what you see on the news, because we can get, what's his name, Geraldo Rivera and CNN here in the middle of North Pennsylvania Avenue when we got a riot going on.
Yeah.
But when it's all that other good stuff that doesn't even make Channel 13 news, it's crickets. And I just wanted to be that person or that platform and just, you know, show the world that there's more to it.
All right.
Absolutely. And so, you know, just to piggyback off of what, you know, you were talking about in your different transitions and stuff like that, how difficult, you know, was it to start your own? Because I know, you know, Jackie started Victory Talk on her own, you know, completely from scratch. You know, it started with a vision, might have started partially from a God beaten, might have been a combination of things on how it got started.
Definitely a God beaten.
So, look, I try to, like, it probably was a combination of things, but it probably was more so that part.
It was.
But you know, and so I, you know, joined a little bit later on down the road, but, and, you know, here we are a couple years later, you know, going strong, growing strong, with viewership and all of that good stuff. But can you share with people how difficult it is to run your own, you know, to control your lighting, to control your sound, to figure out, you know, guests and what you're going to talk about and just all the things that goes into it?
Oh, so I'll answer that from 2 different perspectives. The perspective of actually owning the radio stations was extremely difficult. That stuff takes money.
Yeah.
You know, we had to find spaces to rent, you know, buildings, you know, that were available to rent. We had to buy microphones, soundboard, you know, tables, chairs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like we really had to invest a lot of money into those physical stations. And remember, I did it twice. So that was two times around that, you know, we had to figure out ways to, you know, come up with it, because when you bring people, you know, into what you consider to be a radio station, you know, that has to be a welcoming space. It has to be a warm
Yes.
space. Um, Thank God for my sister, Ron. Um, you know I'm talking about Ron Yell, Jackie. Because at the time when we were looking, that we were transitioning from Worldwide Flavor over to Power 4.4, we needed a space. And she had a salon on Bel Air Road that she was just about to move out of. And when I tell you God worked that situation out, that we were able to go in
Wow.
and in less than a month transform that hair salon into a radio station. It was amazing. But you know, so that part of it was really hard. As far as like all the other stuff that you're saying, like people ask me all the time, like what equipment do you have and so on and so forth. And they think I'm joking when I say this, but I'm literally doing my show from a laptop, and that's it. And I'm in my basement. You know, there's no funky backgrounds and all of that kind of stuff. Like I'm literally in my basement, and I love doing it this way because number one, I don't have to travel. I don't have to, you know, worry about guests not being able to get to the radio station or
Right.
wherever, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that part is easy, and the guests, um, you know, as long as you have a positive message and you know you're like if you're a musician and I can, you know, connect you with people and you can leave my show with a fan. That's the easy part. I happen to have made a great relationship with a publicist named MJ Savino. And if you listen to my show often, you will hear me shouting her out because she literally keeps my calendar full. She's like a 4 or 5 time publicist of the year. And
Wow.
her client list is like my arms aren't long enough to fill, you know, to reach all of the clients that she has. But I have a great working relationship with her, and she keeps, you know, my calendar full. And when I can't, you know, when one of her people aren't on the show, it's not too hard to really just reach out to people,
Yeah.
um, especially on a local level, because, you know, they always want to come and let the world know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
As far as like a more national level, or I'll say a more top tier level of people, my thought process is all they can do is say no.
Right.
You know, so you'd be
Oh yeah.
surprised some of the DMs and emails that I've been in asking, you know, hey, I'm doing this such and such and such. I'd like to have you as a guest on the show. I've had some people that, you know, have said yes, and it's never been a question. And then you get those questions, well, how many viewers do you have, and what's your, you know, you know, your
All
age,
asking all the numbers
and
and
all of
all
the
of
questions.
that.
And you know what? And I'm like, okay, you know, either you do or you don't, because I'm gonna be fine regardless. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
um, it's hard, you know, but once you get to this point, this is the easy part for me. It's just the prepping, you know, you got to promote everything and you know all of that kind of stuff. And since I've been working from home for the last 3 years, it's been a little bit easier. But I think those days are about to end, so it may, you know, get a little more difficult.
Oh
Yeah,
It'll be all right.
it will. It'll
It's
be all right.
definitely gonna be all right.
no. Ask me how I know, because I listen. That whole well, at my last job, I was home for probably about 6 months when everything was shut down, and then I've been back since. So you'll figure out a way to make it work. You just gonna have to keep that calendar tight and that to do list
Yeah.
on point.
Yeah, we were supposed to go back in December, but somebody decided to, you know, have a ransomware attack on the Department of Health, and so totally throw
Probably
down
one of
that
the
move.
employees.
I mean, it did happen on my birthday. It did happen on my birthday.
Wow.
My,
As we
my
gonna move
supervisor
right on
called me and
along
was
from
like,
that.
my
Right,
supervisor was
right.
like, Antwon, you ain't do nothing stupid on your birthday. I was like, nah.
Like,
You
nah, I
won't.
like my job. I got bills to pay. I'm
Absolutely.
nah.
Right.
And they go to federal prison for stuff like that. So nah, I'm good. I'm good.
How do you define stupid?
Uncle Pastor said, how do you define stupid?
Facts.
That's it right there.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Stupid is as stupid does. Well, listen, you have so much going on, and it's been so many different, irons in the fire and so many different things. How, how did you manage the transitions? How did you, just go so, and it just seemed like it kind of like happened so smoothly for us that watching from the outside, but I imagine from being on the inside it maybe not as smooth as we may have feel like it was. But what experience did you and takeaways did you glean from the different platforms? I mean, there's baltimoreflavor.net, Baltimore Flavor Radio, Worldwide Flavor Network, and now Access Granted. How was the transition in all of that?
Actually pretty easy, to be honest with you. I can't even give you like this exciting answer where I'm talking about a million and one things that happened. Baltimore Flavor was the baby that started it all. And that went with me everywhere that I went. So there was no real transition with that other than moving, like literally moving. The dad rap thing came about because one of my coworkers at the time and her husband wanted to start a show like that, and they asked me to come in and be a co-host on the show, and that kind of coincided with one of the transitions of Baltimore Flavor Radio, because the place where I was at the time that she asked, I'm gonna just keep it honest, it was ghetto, and it wasn't that kind of place that I wanted to bring that kind of show, so I knew that I had to transition, to another place. And it just so happened that the slot that I was in on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock doing Baltimore Flavor Radio was open at the place that I was transitioning to. And so it made it easy because the dad rap show ended up being at 7 o'clock. So it just really, there really hasn't been any like tough transitions. Again, it's just a matter of trying to find a place that first of all is comfortable for you, and that you're getting what you pay for, because when you have a show at an online radio station, you're paying for that airtime,
right? Mm-hmm.
And so you're paying to have your brand sent out, and you just want to make sure that everything is the way that you feel like it needs to be. And again, we were in 3 situations where we felt like it wasn't, and that's what made us decide to go and start our own. And that was the only real hard transition. Again, as I told Key earlier, just trying to find a space, trying to buy the equipment. You got to pay bills, you got to pay electricity, you got to pay, the Wi-Fi bill and all that kind of stuff. So that was really the only hard transition. And then from there, just moving into Access Granted again, come down the basement, flip on your laptop, turn the lights on, send the link, and let's go.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty easy. And I love it. I will never, ever, ever go back into a physical building ever again. Yeah. Ever go back.
Y'all heard him say, he said never, ever, 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 ever,
well,
ever.
I mean, if Ricky Smiley wanted me to come join the morning show, or something like that, then I would change my mind. But as far as my show, my platform, and the way that I'm doing this now, it's too easy to do it this way, and I can connect too far.
Yeah.
So it would be, ridiculous for me to change and do it different at this point.
But it almost kind of makes me, think about the independent artists. It's the same type thing. It's like, why pay somebody or pay money or not get, whatever it is that if you can do it yourself, and you're not using up any extra electricity, you're already paying BG&E. You know what I mean? You just don't have all the extra added expenses, the time it takes, and all of that. So, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer to me.
And for the independent artists, they're putting their money into it, so they're receiving their money back. They don't have the record labels and, all of these people, it's like
they got their hand out to get there.
Like eliminating all of the middlemen at this point. So, yeah.
I think that a lot of... I was going to say, I believe, and I've talked about this before, people talk about the negative that COVID brought about. However, I believe a lot of positive has, surfaced. And because again, had we not have been in the season of COVID, if we not have been in the beginning stages of it, Victory Talk would not have been birthed. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think Access Granted would either.
Exactly. And so Key and I have, talked, occasionally about doing a live show from, church or wherever or whatever. But being in, this space, it makes it so much easier. It makes it so much simpler. And you don't have to worry about somebody being late getting there. You don't have to worry about traffic or whatever issues or whether or not
I can't tell you how many shows we had to cancel, in the wintertime because, it was snowing, or, how many shows started late because, it's an accident on 695 or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
When as many of those obstacles as that you can eliminate, it brings your peace of mind to, a higher level. And I like my peace of mind. So
it's a lot less stress.
The only thing I have to worry about now is making sure that, I have a good Wi-Fi connection.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because I was going to say, nowadays, you can even, you got a guest that's supposed to be on the show, whatever, pull over on the side of the road, hop on your phone. You know what I mean? Like, we're on StreamYard, we're on Zoom, we're on, my Teams, whatever platforms that we're using. You can get right on your iPad, your phone, whatever. Make it work. We're not canceling no show. Unless something catch you on fire or something, God forbid, we in there.
My pastor tried to pull over. My pastor tried to pull over on the side of the road and do the show. I was like, bro, go home. I will hold this down until you get home. I wasn't going to have
Pastor held Bible study from the roadside. I'm telling you,
sir, do not play.
It's real around these parts. We not playing no games. Y'all going to get this word. It's going by any means necessary. Okay?
I wasn't going to have my pastor on the side of the road doing my show.
Man, but I'm trying to tell you, that roadside Bible study that time,
it was good.
Good.
It was good.
We like, all right, long as you're safe, you know what I'm saying? You inside of your vehicle, you tucked away, so ain't nobody going, go and get that done.
Listen, he had to worry about the people. He had to worry about the peoples that dare he had to worry about.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, how your experience has been working with such a wide array of mainstream and local artists. And by the way, just to throw out there while you was talking about that bio, you don't know that bio. Out of that bio came most of the content for the questions, so you should already know some of what's coming. But the list, that you sent us over, like Melba Moore, Special Ed, Smooth B of Nice and Smooth, some actors you had, Trey Chaney and Cinda Williams. Like, what has your experience been like talking to people, on a higher level, not taking away from the local artists, because, we all got to start somewhere, but, were you nervous? Like, what was that experience like? Or is it just regular conversation like
strictly
like we having right now?
Strictly a fan moment. I was sitting in front of Special Ed. I wanted him so bad to break out and do I Got It Made live. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Smooth B, shout out to him. He did do a little bit of some of his old Nice and Smooth stuff live. He was actually in his car when he did the show in California. But the one thing that I've learned is that when you get them in this element, especially since the majority of them are at home when they come on this show, it's just like this. It's literally just like this. Cinda Williams had just lost her mom like the day before. Wow. And I remember talking to her all day, the day of the show, like, do you still want to do this? Do you still want to do this? And she was like, absolutely. So it's almost like when they're in that element and you're having a real conversation with them, they take that stage name off and they just become, the normal people that they are, that we don't see because we only see them when they're on the camera and everything. Trey Chaney, I'd actually met years ago here in Baltimore at an event for fatherhood. And so this was this was right after he finished with The Wire, and I didn't realize at the time. He told this story when he was on my show. At that time, like when I met him, he was like literally flat broke. A lot of people didn't realize that once The Wire was over, he wasn't getting calls to go, for other roles, or at least if he was getting the calls, he wasn't getting the roles. And so that's what started his total independent hustle. And I recommend anybody to go back and watch that show that I did with him, because he's like super motivating. Or if you like follow him on social media, like he's always motivating and talk about the grind and the hustle that he's on. So it's just been, and these are literally all of those people that you mentioned, with the exception of special ed, are literally all people that I reached out to either by DM on Instagram or by email, and they all said yeah. Wow. And that's why I said, you have to put that, put the word out there, because at the very least they're gonna say no, they can't do it. And I feel like if they tell me no, then it wasn't meant for them to be here anyway.
Exactly.
So, that's what's up, and I like the fact that you mentioned that too, because for anybody else who's out there kind of doing this type of platform, just ask. You know what I mean? Because we're all thinking in our minds, they got all of these million followers, and I mean now your Jay-Z's and your Beyonce's, yeah, they're probably not managing their pages, but some of the other people. I mean, nothing beats a failure but a try. Send a message. Worst thing they're going to do, like you said, is say no or not respond. But I like that. I really like that idea of just, seeing somebody that you want to get on and just hitting them up and seeing what happens.
I'm going to get Jay-Z up here.
I know that's right. Put that on out there right now.
Come on, Jay-Z.
Y'all heard it first.
Somehow, some way, I'm gonna get the word to Jay-Z that we were born on the same day, right around the same time, December the 4th, 1969. He gonna say, "Oh, I need to come talk to you," and he gonna come on Access Grant.
There you go.
Absolutely, definitely.
Before we go any further, we have a question out there. Sunshine, hey Sunshine. She asked, how do you deal with obstacles along the way?
And can she expound on that a little bit? Is she talking about obstacles in life or obstacles in this media thing?
I would imagine she's talking about obstacles in the media.
It's basically what I just said. Like right now, everything is so simple for me. You know what I mean? It's literally just a matter of trying to keep a schedule, and make sure that I'm capable of doing a show by myself, but I don't like doing my show by myself because I like to always have a co-host that has a different perspective than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every time I have a co-host, they ask one or two questions, and it'll be like, "Yo, why didn't I think of that?" You know what I mean? Kiara included. She did a great job when she came and sat in with me. So, like for me, honestly, right now, there's really no obstacles as far as media, other than just finding guests. And honestly, I'm not gonna say that the guests kind of come to me, but I've been in a situation since I've been doing this where I haven't really had an issue doing it. And the one thing that I decided when I started to do this show was that I wasn't going to have a set day and time, because I wanted to always be flexible for the guests, because I knew that some of them were going to be in different cities, so there's different time zones. I was praying that I could connect with people internationally. The time zone, once you start crossing the water, gets crazy. Now, because Alenia, who is my co-host, my main co-host now, because she's only available to do the show on Mondays, I try to keep the Monday at 7 o'clock schedule set. But I have people like Kiara and people like my girl Stacey Rose, people like my girl Nina that I can always call on if I happen to have a show on another day of the week. And, if push comes to shove and I have to do it by myself, I will. But like those are really the only obstacles that I have to deal with, other than if Comcast decides that they want to come drilling in the ground, the day of the show and knock the Wi-Fi out, And then I'm sitting there at 6:55 with no Wi-Fi, wondering, how I'm gonna get this show done. That's what happened when I had Billy Nance from MOP on. That was the worst show ever.
Oh wow.
Oh, I remember when that happened.
Because Michonne actually came on and did part of that show with me. Yeah, that was the worst. But yeah, no real obstacles. And if it is, I'm more than willing to just not do a show. I'm more than willing to, play a replay of an old show. So, you don't stress over that stuff. You just kind of deal with it as it comes along.
Yeah. There was another question, but I think Miss Victoria, hey Mama Sugar, he actually answered that. Her question was, who is one person that you desire to interview in the future? And
I got a list.
Oh, you got a list. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You do. So give us somebody else besides Mr. Carter.
Oh yeah, Jay-Z is definitely one. I've always wanted to talk to Russell Simmons. Believe it or not, I've always wanted to talk to Hillary Clinton.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to talk to Hillary. I got some questions. I got some questions for Hillary. She's been through a lot, and then just the like. I hate saying stuff like Denzel and people like that because it's so cliche. I would rather talk to like Denzel's manager or like his publicist or somebody or his wife, to talk to her to see how she's been able to manage.
All the information
to see how she's managed to deal with all of these Denzel groupies over the last 25, 30 years or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have a long list. I could probably name about 20, 25 people that I would just love to have. But Jay-Z and Russell Simmons would probably be like my top two. And I would like to talk to Oprah, simply because of her Baltimore roots.
Yeah.
Because I remember Oprah before she was Oprah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When she was just that little scraggly haired chick on the news. What I'm saying? So, yeah.
Be nice, Pastor. So if given the opportunity, would you talk to Will Smith?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's another one on the list. And I would never mention the slap. I would never ever mention the slap. He has so much. Like I watch. He's one of the people that I follow heavy on social media. He kind of fell off a little bit after that for obvious reasons, but
right.
Like some of his stuff, especially his YouTube channel, is so inspirational. And plus now he has me wanting to get in a helicopter and bungee jump over the Grand Canyon. He did that for his 50th birthday, and I was like, whoa.
I saw that. Y'all could have that.
Yeah, thank you.
He has me wanting to do that. First of all, I don't know if I could afford to do it because I can imagine what that costs.
Right.
But yeah, he's very, very inspirational. And it's unfortunate that the situation with him and Chris Rock happened, and of course, all of the entanglement stuff, with him and Jada. Another person I would like to talk to is Jada, because y'all know she's from here.
Yes.
And
yeah.
There's a lot to Jada before she became Jada that I would like to get to know, because I don't know her story, but I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. So if anybody's watching and you're related, because I know y'all got a lot of folks in Baltimore that watch.
Oh yeah.
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 I would love to talk to Jada.
We on the hunt.
It could be Red Table Talk, access granted.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute. I gotta go back to the questions because Mama Sugar, she you see her stuff out
Mama
there,
Sugar.
Key. Miss Victoria said
she just started unloading. We gonna get one more and then we gotta get back to this because it's 7:45.
I want all the smoke. All the smoke.
She said, but no, this is actually a really, really good question. She says, do you have to send your questions in advance to the folks that you're interviewing? And I know you do your show a little bit different, so this will give you the opportunity to expel on that.
Absolutely not. And if they asked me to, I probably wouldn't. And if that meant them not being on the show, then so be it. Now, the one thing that I would do,
can you explain why you?
No, because it's my show. So
I mean, but do you feel like, I know that part, but I'm saying, do you feel like it's more natural flowing if they don't know? Because I'm gonna say the reason why I'm asking you this is because I felt the same way. And we've had guests that have asked for questions, and I really didn't want to do it. Like, I really, really didn't want to do it. But I did it because,
it feels so robotic when you do it that way. And when you do it that way, the conversation doesn't flow because it's almost like, okay, I asked the question, that's your answer. Next question, that's your answer. I can never do a show that way. The only thing that I would do is if someone got, or if they contacted me before, or like when they pop up in the background and I can see them, you know, if they had some personal stuff that they didn't want to talk about, I would respect that. If Will Smith came on the show and said, I don't want to talk about the slap, I wouldn't talk about the slap because I don't want to talk about the slap anyway. You know, so I would respect people's personal wishes of stuff that they don't want to talk about to a degree. But I feel like if it's something that you don't want to talk about, and I happen to ask a question about it, just simply say, I don't want to answer that, or I don't want to get into that.
Right.
You know, but don't come on my show and tell me, and try to dictate, because it's real easy to hit that remove button and I'll just go on with the rest of the show without you. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but as host, that's the control that we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just being real.
Yeah. So let me run up the street here because I want to talk about the Dad Rap Show because I really felt like it was a good show.
Man.
It was deep. It went in some places and some areas and to some people that you don't normally hear from. And it touched on some subjects and some, topics that society would like to cover up. And so if you don't mind sharing, is it still something that you can incorporate? What happened to it? Where is it at? Can it be brought back? What's the...
So that rap could be brought back tomorrow, honestly. And it's funny because the woman, Delisa, that was on that show, I actually saw her yesterday. She was one of the people that had to come into the office. That was her and her husband's show, basically. I was there strictly as a co-host. And when we were physically inside of radio stations doing that show, we were paying for that airtime. SAMHSA actually sponsored that show. So that was like my first real paid gig. I ain't gonna tell y'all how much I was getting paid for that show, but I was getting paid because they had to write up a little proposal and they asked me how much I wanted to get paid to host the show. And I was like, just give me $50. And they looked at me and they was like, Negro, the federal government is paying for this show. How much do you want to get paid? I was like, you sure you want to give me that? And they did. And so I got paid a nice little amount of money for that show. But and that was really the only reason that it stopped. The grant that they were using at the time ran out, and they tried to get some other grant stuff going, and it never happened. And I've talked to the guy, James, twice about doing it virtually, but he said that it would be a little bit difficult because the guests that they were going to get on that show, and they were responsible for all of the guests, I forgot the technical term that he used, but it's almost like if they didn't have the permission to come and talk about it, they wouldn't be able to, or something to that degree. So that's just kind of where it was with it. But I absolutely, when I tell you that I ministered to myself so many times on that show, because a lot of the stuff that was being talked about was stuff that I was going through with my son, that show was incredible, and I would love to bring something back to that degree. And anything is possible. Anything is possible. But that show was really deep. And when you started looking at it from the mental health standpoint, it kind of opened my eyes up, and started looking at things a lot differently. So, for the 1 year and 4 or 5 months that it lasted, it was like the greatest thing on earth to me, because it helped me become a better father, honestly. I loved that show when we were there.
Well, I hope that's a seed been planted, and we could maybe see something similar in the future, because I think it's a much needed, platform
We can call it Uncle
Or you know what, Antwon?
You
On
said
that note, though, when I get started, because you already know I'm all things mental health. So then maybe you can come and sit alongside me a couple times, and we can just do it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's coming. It's coming.
Absolutely.
All right, so we going to get on down the road to our next question. So I want to talk about this signature Long Island iced tea with your partner Tipsy Fiend, who you had on your show a couple of weeks ago. She just seemed like such a sweetheart, so professional. Like I just really need to meet her in person. But this is major. Tell us about where you are. I know you said you're kind of in the final development stages. Missed the not grand opening. What am I trying to say? Your rollout.
Yeah.
Missed that. I don't drink Long Island iced tea, but tell us a little bit about. I still would have showed up, to support. But tell us a little bit about that.
I promise you, you would have liked what you would have tasted if you would have came. You did. So basically, I mean, that's just. I'm starting to think life after 2024. I definitely plan on retiring from the state in the next 3 years or so, and just starting to think of ways to expand this brand. And anybody knows me. Anybody that knows me knows that my adult beverage of choice is a Long Island iced tea. Um, but I just wanted to do something with a little different spin on it. And so, I've known Tipsy Fiend probably since like 2015 or so, right around the time I started doing my show originally. And like she's like a really really good mixologist, and you have to call her a mixologist because once they go and they get that little certificate or whatever of mixology, if you call them a bartender, you will get served. You know what I mean?
Not served a drink. She was talking on the show.
Not served a drink. And it's crazy because if you watch that show, so I didn't know that like there were different levels. Like if you like, there are some people that can literally only take the drink to the table. There are some people that can't even come behind the bar, and so on and so forth. And if you're a bartender, there's only certain things that you can do. But mixologists can actually create drinks. They can take a bunch of different ingredients. And so I talked to her about it and asked her to partner up with me, and she said yes. And it was a it was a really good turnout. We started with two flavors. We were going to do a black cherry infused Long Island, and we were going to do one called a Baltimore half and half because from Baltimore. That's our go-to when we go to the sub shop and get the chicken box and the sub. You always got to get a half and half. The half and half did great. People loved it. The black cherry was good, but um, as the night went on and the carbonation from the black cherry drink that she used started to settle, it kind of lost its luster a little bit. And so now we just have to go back into the lab and talk about where I'm actually probably going to tell her to just do away with the black cherry because I don't want that to happen all the time. But once we come up with this second flavor, we're probably going to do a second testing somewhere around the city. And yeah, we're going to bottle it up. We have these very professional looking labels that even have the warning to women: don't drink when you're pregnant, and such and such and such and such.
Little advisory
really official,
labels.
Yeah, there's like some, there's real official paperwork behind this. This isn't just us, up in the kitchen putting stuff in a pouch and say, here. And my goal, at some point is to at least have it in stores, in this area, if not on a national level. You never know, where it might go. But yeah, just something else. One of the my mind is always going when I'm trying to think of ways to, expand this, and that was something that I had always wanted to do. I'm not trying to be the next Ciroc or the next, but if it happens to get to that level, then so be it. But just a little something that I wanted to do to just kind of expand my brand, and so that way, when we're out at different events, and I learned this from my sister Nene, the original party girl. When you're out at different events, they may have a bar set up, but you can also have a little part where you can have signature drinks served at that event, and expand the brand. That's my motto going into 2023. Expand the brand. that'll be the only thing alcoholic that I do. I promise. I'm not going to do anything else. I have some other things that I'm working on. And really trying to get out of my own way and start doing this content stuff that I want to start putting out. I have some great ideas of some stuff that I want to do around the city as far as putting content out. And like I'm literally the only one stopping me from doing it, so I just got to get out of my way at some point and start doing it. But yes, I'm excited. I'm excited about the signature drink. It's called Access Granted, and it'll be two flavors. The Baltimore half and half will definitely stay. The second is yet to be determined, but I want to have this done by Christmas. So maybe we'll have some at the Christmas party for the marriage ministry.
Oh wow, that's really soon. Y'all got planned. That's really soon.
Yeah.
But no, that's that's awesome that you're looking into different avenues to expand, because it seems like everybody's go-to is kind of like either fragrances or what's the other thing that most people, fragrances, candles, just typical things that people aren't really thinking outside the box too much, and so doing something that, I mean, everybody's not doing that, everybody doesn't even know how to even begin to do something like that. So
and
yeah, that's good. And I'm sure it is definitely some work to do. But all right, so we rolling down to the top of the hour. You got any closing thoughts? You want to give your? I know time flies when you're having fun. I know. And look, and your show, I know it's like that's one thing that I meant to ask you, because I know that sometimes it's an hour, sometimes does it go to whenever, or do you have certain segments that are
whenever?
You just kind of go to whenever. Okay, because I know that one that we was on. Look, Jackie and I got a signal for the bathroom if we gotta go or whatever. That one that we was on, I'm sitting here, I'm drinking all this water on this detox, and the conversation's so good, and I'm sitting there like, how can I let it? And then I just had to look, and you went to put one of her videos on the camera. I was like, here I go.
So look, so I got you, sis. So the next time you're on and you need to run off, if you look on your right hand side, there's a thing that says private check. And if you just go in there and say, I got to go to the bathroom or something,
just let
I'm the only one that's going to see it, and I'll know. And I'll take you off the screen. Yeah. I don't know. I try not to go past 2 hours, just because sometimes I'll look over at Alenia and I'll see she's starting to, but it all depends on like
how the flow is going, right?
Yeah, it depends on how the flow.
Yes.
And you can kind of feel when it's getting to that point where you can say, okay, well, I don't want to know anything else, and we've asked pretty much all we needed to ask, and you can start wrapping it up. So that's when I start going to let everybody know what your social media is and how they can find you.
And that's where I was just headed.
Before you go to that, though, I do have another question that I really want to get out there. Miss Victoria said, have you ever had a guest that it was really difficult to interview, where you had a hard time pulling information from that person? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Yep. Ended the interview. I had a woman when I had Baltimore Flavor Radio. I'll never forget this. We were at Radio on Fire, and she had an event that she asked me to come on my show and promote, and then got up there and didn't want to talk. And I tried to pull teeth for like 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, I signaled over. Jackie, I don't know if you know DJ Diamond K, but he was the owner of that station at the time. I signaled to him and gave him like, I gave him the little, to get ready to do this, and he knew that meant to start playing music. And I said to the young lady, so, someone who wants to get tickets to your event, how do they do it? And she gave me ticket information, and I said, okay, we're going to take a quick break, and that was it. I ain't got time for that. Now, this way, now that we're doing it virtually, like I said earlier, Kiara, it's real quick and easy to hit that remove button. So I'll be like, just give me your social information, social media, and then just click them off, and then that's just it. I'll figure out how to fill in the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Nobody got time for that. Yeah. You're coming to talk, especially if you're promoting something that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a waste of people's time. It's a waste of the host's time. It's a waste of the people who are watching.
Right.
Don't come up here if you don't want to talk.
Well, we don't have that trouble too much because both of us like to talk a lot. So if you don't talk, we'll talk to each other.
Right.
Look, I'll be down here and I smell my wife's cooking. And I'll be like, look, if you don't want to talk, I can go upstairs and get me something.
I'm about to go eat. So y'all already know you come on Access Granny, you better have something to say or you can get the click up.
You're going to get the click.
The show can be 2 hours or the show can be 15 minutes. It's totally up to the guest.
Okay.
It's totally up to the guest.
Okay. I like that option.
Yeah.
I like that option.
So go ahead and share with the viewers where they can find you at Mr. Antwon.
Find us on Facebook, Access Granted the Pod Stream. The show goes live there. I always suggest people go there because that way if they put in questions, those are the questions that I can click and they'll pop up on the actual show when we're going. Also on the YouTube channel, Access Granted the Pod Stream. You can find it there. And of course on my personal Facebook page, Antwon Grant. And then we're on Instagram. That's access_granted_AG. I have a Twitter account. I'm horrible at Twitter, so don't waste your time going to look because you're not going to see anything there. I have a TikTok. Don't waste your time going there because you're not going to see anything on TikTok. I think I got about 3 posts, and that's been like 6 months. And yeah, that's about it. Tune in this Monday because we have the Stewart brothers, Aaron and Gary.
Nice.
And if you're from AME Church in Baltimore, you know what the Stewart brothers are all about, and I'm so excited to finally get them on.
Yeah.
So yeah, tune in Monday at 7 o'clock.
All right. You got anything else, Lady J, before I wrap it up?
I actually do. I really do, and I can't let you go by on this because it talks about in your bio about your singing career. Where are you at with that? How did you get started? What you got going on? You got a little something?
My singing career?
Yeah.
That's definitely a typo. That's definitely a typo.
Sexual chocolate. I don't know. I heard you was on the cruise. Giving up a little.
Woo, 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 woo. That ain't no typo.
The only way that I will resume any kind of singing career is if my partner that was on that cruise with me, shutting that nightclub down, Uncle Passer, comes back out on the road with me. Other than that, I don't have a singing career. Nice try, Jackie.
What say you, Uncle Passer?
What say you?
Sexual chocolate.
I mean, if he comes on now and he want to do a little easy like Sunday morning, we can do that at the end of the show. But
come here, sir.
That was a joke, Jackie.
Oh.
Listen, you can't say nothing like that to her and it ain't gonna happen.
I'd be like, get over here now. Sing.
Nah, I'm good. I don't know where that singing career thing. I gotta look at what I sent you now, Keith, because I don't remember putting anything like that on the.
Oh, you absolutely didn't. But you mentioned, that you sing on the praise team, so we figured, and you got to start somewhere. So
the soon-to-be newly named Victorious Praise.
VP, are you with me? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you saw the conversation. I can't wait till we do that. But yeah, that's it. No singing career. I digress.
All right, no singing tonight. So if y'all want to hear him sing, you got to show up for Sunday service, 435 Maryland Avenue, 8:45 starts praise and worship. All right, and that's where you can hear. So there you go. Look, there you go. They gonna see you. They show up. You gotta show up to hear him sing.
That's a true media person. I like the way you did that.
You like that? That's the plug.
Listen, I loved it. She dumped it. We good.
That's it, and that's why we work. All right, y'all, we getting ready to get up out of here. Thank you so much to our guest, Antwon Grant of Access Granted. Thanks so much for just gracing us with your presence, allowing us to cut it up, chop it up with you a little bit tonight. If y'all want to, check out the show he shared, you can. I mean, it's pretty much Access Granted on almost all platforms. And I say almost because not Twitter and TikTok, but it's all good.
I mean, it's there. You just won't see anything on it.
Right, listen, I got
we
the
understand.
Twitter too, and I call it the Twitter. I have the Twitter too, but I don't tweet. I'm just on there to see what everybody else is talking about. There you go. So it's your girl Key signing off. My sissy from another Missy.
Lady J, good night.
I love y'all.
All right, y'all. We got
y'all.
a busy weekend. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Love the hopeful, and prayerfully on Sunday morning for our youth explosion starting at 9 a.m. But don't show up at 9 a.m. Be in the house between 8:30 and 8:45 because it's going to be lit.
Yes. Rep your favorite team. You want to rep your favorite team? We got a guest speaker. Brother Najee speaks farewell. Yes, that's right. Ravens in the house. Y'all are Redskins folks and y'all Steelers folks. Y'all welcome too, but just understand.
I was gonna say y'all can come. We ain't gonna.
Y'all can come on. Yeah, we gotta have somebody to talk.
We got one Steelers fan, and he does security, so that's fine. He can stay out there and do security.
He out there doing security. And after service, you want to stick around because our culinary ministry is going to be doing chicken and waffles. Yes, they are going to be serving chicken and waffles. And you can feel free to make a small donation for your plate, but you do not have to. But, if you want, give a little something for the price of food. It'd be a blessing, all right? Then
but make sure you stop by for the word, because if you show up just for the chicken and waffles, I'm gonna call you out. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna call you out.
You're gonna get called out.
All right, y'all. We out of here. We will catch you next week, same time, same place on Victory Talk. Oh, I wasn't good. Well, it's gonna be no replay. Oh, all right. Well, next Friday night is my ordination at 7 p.m. y'all at the church. So we will see you live and in person next Friday night, and then we'll be back on the following Friday with our marriage edition.
Yeah.
All right. Until then, we love y'all. God bless and be safe, everybody.
Love you guys.
Good night.
Good night.